Hello, 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 this is Eva the Elfpire, and today we're going to be going over a certain document here that was sent to me thanks to Mizu. And, the title of it is called The Truth About Blaze, aka Baby. Now, the reason why I'm going through this document isn't because necessarily there's any substantive evidence, in these accusations against Blaze. It's actually because this document is so poorly put together in the way of providing any evidence or anything that could create a reasonable suspicion for these allegations that I wanted to show people through the reading of this document how not to expose somebody, quote unquote, right? So with that, we're going to go through it rather quickly. I'll make my commentary afterward, and then, we'll go from there. Specifically where they have left themselves open and liable to a lawsuit. And by that I mean Ari. So, starts off with title. I have a very, very serious announcement I want to make. To speak out to all of Holo Twitter and the Viva commit the virus. Holo, I don't know. Anyway, I want y'all to listen to everything I'm about to say here. Hello everyone, yes it's me, Arius. Some of you may know excuse me. Some of you may know I've been in a relationship for 3 months. That's an extraordinarily short relationship. Since late June with you-know-who. Oh, she's been dating fucking Voldemort. Alright, I said I wouldn't do that, I'd make commentary after, I'm sorry. Here we go. Let's see here. Everything goes super well. Up to that point, I knew nothing was going to interfere. That doesn't make sense. However, in September, I was hit by some sudden turn of events in my life, which led me to taking a hiatus from Twitter twice. For more than a month or two, I've been hiding in my cave for so long for my own safety, having fear of what he was capable of. But it's now time to come out into the light and reveal the whole truth behind this fiasco I had to go through a while back. They follow that up with 2 screenshots, and it looks like Blaze Feather 522 is blocked on 2 different accounts. That's his Discord and his Twitter, I'm guessing. Some of y'all, most even, wow, apparently all of us know about this, guys, or at least most of us, are already familiar with Blaze Wright, also known as my quote-unquote BF, now my ex. Yeah, so to give you guys a refresher about my incident, so about 2 months ago in late September, after my mother picked me up from school, she went on to tell me about a Scottish phone number reaching out to her that day, saying the person behind the number was actually Blaze, because he legit managed to expose our entire DM history from April to September to her, revealing some of my secrets, including him exposing our relationship status. And before you'll ask me, no, I did not give him any phone numbers at all. He blackmailed her with $2,000, otherwise he would have leaked our DMs in public, although my mother scared him off, so that did not happen, thankfully. I first thought it was someone impersonating him, because it couldn't fully believe everything that happened that day. But when my mother got the authorities involved for them to start an investigation on Blaze, I was finally convinced it was him who blackmailed my mother that day and nearly destroyed my life and my family's completely. This motherfucker basically tried to get away with manipulation and pretending nothing ever happened, playing the victim card. Unfortunately, I kind of fell for his scheme because I'm stupid. We got everything we could possibly receive the authorities, so buckle up. Okay, so I'm going to break this apart, basically how they have in different little sections here. I'll do my best, but this is already turning out to be kind of a mess. So, let's see here. He follows up that whole gobbledygook, but by the way, if they really did start an investigation, the authorities wouldn't be giving anybody anything, because it's an investigation, and you want to play your cards close to your chest, especially if you're trying to uncover, like, criminal activity. So, her claims that she has this source from the authorities, unless she backs it up, unless he backs it up, I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure that Ari is a boy. That's my bad. Apologies. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, this is another, okay, that's funny. So this is just all of their other accounts, it looks like. Baze Virus, Lapuvax, Baby, Blaze Feather, Blaze Bet, Unfiltered, okay. Oh, and by the way, to make matters even worse, he's also known as a famous baby. Same with all those other viruses. So just giving everyone a heads up. Also, the one he scratched off is his Fua virus account. The screenshot on the right is not mine. It's Blaze's, but that's all his current accounts. The main virus account being Beve, which has over 6k followers. The dark truth behind Blaze Beve, aka my ex-BF. I love this AKA. We've seen this like 2 or 3 times now. For anyone who doesn't know Blaze, okay, I don't care. Okay, well I care a little bit. Here we go. He's an 18-year-old Scottish dude who I've been dating for 3 months before breaking up with him secretly after the incident. His Oshis are Susui, Bei, Fua. I don't know why his Oshis are important, but okay. He's quite a massive degenerate, if you ask me. Oh ho ho! Okay then. We met back in April, and I asked one of my friends to invite me to the server to meet more people from the Hololive community. I was still new to HoloTwit at the time. At first I saw him as a kind, chill, and cute guy to talk with. Out of everyone I've met on that server, he was my favorite to talk to. Eventually, we became close friends after only a few months, and somehow he had a crush on me after only a month or more, but I wasn't aware of what was going to happen in the blink of an eye. Well, that's not fucking dramatic as shit. Alright, so they go on to accuse the man of social human trafficking. You may ask, what is social human trafficking? Very good fucking question. Let's read and find out. Yes, you heard that right. Well, I read it right, but keep going. It's fine. He's actually a social human trafficker and a predator and groomer, according to the info we've received from the authorities that we've yet to present to anybody else. After further investigation, it turns out he's actually in 15 relationships at the same time. No idea why the police would tell you that. Well, it's 14 now since I've left him. The real deal is he would wait until one of them turns 18 so that he can convince them to abandon their homes and move to Scotland with him. And he's 18 himself and probably make them sex slaves? As far as I know, I reckon most of his BFs are around 17 like me, which gives the perfect opportunity to manipulate them and ruin their lives living with him. Right, so this person is very stupid. What they're describing is what Andrew Tate was accused of doing, which is known as the lover boy method. It is a form of human sex trafficking. It's not called social human trafficking, it's still called sex trafficking. Now, once the person has moved, they will make it difficult, if not impossible, to live life like without that person, or even to leave the country. It's a form of confinement, and it's taken very seriously. I mean, just look at the charges that Andrew Tate is facing. It's not, it's not a light accusation to do, which, again, they've just accused them of doing this. And again, they have no actual evidence backing up their claims or anything. It's just probably. 2. Manipulation. During our time dating, I slowly started feeling suspicious about him barely interacting with me. He told me he had been having communication problems, which I found it hard to believe, knowing he spends most of the time VCing with other people and chatting with others very often without an issue. Long story short, he actually never loved me at all in the first place, and instead, he has been using me and manipulating me this whole time. Hilarious. How hilarious. He realized I was quite vulnerable. I was quite a vulnerable person in general, so after he learned more about me, he started taking advantage of my vulnerability to make me change as a person. But thankfully, my mom took action and made sure that outcome never happened. I still feel a bit stupid I fell for this whole crap, but it is what it is, I guess. Despite all of this chaos, Blaze managed to blend in like nothing ever happened most of the time, while making himself look like the victim. Knowing exactly what he did, he fooled me, he fooled everyone, coming up with lies and make them look true. He's probably going to try to defend himself if he realizes I exposed him. In the event that happens, do not believe his lies. That's a sign of manipulation. Yeah, so is pretty much the totality of this document so far, by the way. He's insanely good at manipulating. Yeah, well, you aren't. So it's hard to catch any red flags from him. One of his biggest schemes is attempting to change the BS for who they are, including me. I wasn't affected much by this, thankfully. It was mostly my sexuality that was being affected. I'm not bisexual, I'm straight. He brainwashed me into thinking I was bi. Okay, so I wasn't affected by this much. It affected my sexuality, my identity as a person when it comes to my attraction to other people. That's something that's, I don't know, it's pretty substantial in my eyes. So we're just, like, contradiction there. Until they slowly lose themselves. Like I said above, he would then make them sex slaves. Sex slaves! Even some people already started getting suspicious of him lately with his attitude and behavior, especially the ones that I talk to more often. So they post another one, and again, this is a censored individual. We don't know who they are. It could be a friend of them, just saying what they want to be said so they can get these screenshots. We don't know, especially with how heavily modified these pictures are. And it's just them talking shit, being suspicious about nothing really. Just angry. Ari's just mad that this guy had stopped talking to him, basically. Some point he asked me incident as but he refused to elaborate further, knowing how scary. He's not scared. You're coming across like a crazy person. Another disgusting truth behind it, he actually managed to get one of our friends from a viewer community out of her very position. I won't specify who, for safety reasons. Due to a lot of pressure and fame, he was slowly gearing as baby. It was done on purpose because Blaze only wanted fame for himself. So you're trying to tear down that fame that he obtained? I don't know what's happening. Let's see here. Viruses coming in. They're legit, but Blaze is a fraud. Back then, he was reposting. Yeah, again, this doesn't amount to anything in reference to the allegations that are being made. Let's see here. Fuck you, Blaze. You fucking took baby. Oh, yeah, this person's beyond pissed, and all of their statements are, we have no idea who they are. This thrown out of court. Can't be used as evidence. Goodbye. Next, leads. Alright, a while back I had a talk with one of my Twitter mods who also had a close connection with Blaze regarding everything, including the way he communicated with others compared to us. Blaze is clearly desperate, and not in a good way. Especially the way he's gonna start the whole manipulation cycle once he finds his guy. Oh, Jesus Christ. He decided, and again, your Twitter mod is, of course, censored, because we can't know anybody about your sources, but we just gotta trust you, right, bro? Please. This is falling apart rapidly. I'm not even reading these because look, it's all just fucking them bitching about this guy. That's all it is. You guys can pause and read it if you want. I'm not going into that. Another thing he keeps complaining about is how he loved talking to me or how he wants to be friends. Yeah, no, the way he's putting it in makes me look like he's actually trying to. Now this guy's stalking. Okay, even someone pointed that out earlier. Plus, he's lying. He only wants to manipulate me even more, like he did last time. With a little sticking your tongue out emoji. That's not, that emoji doesn't fit the vibe you're trying to convey, my dude. Because the last time I fell for something similar to my Lord, his shit from an email with screenshots and other info from him, which you don't actually have, because these are all just you talking about bullshit. You fucking being mad. What's this? Let's see here, going down a little bit more. And also a while back, the new block update went live on Twitter. One of Blaze's IRL friends, Dread, found my account and following me. Them knowing blocking him wouldn't do shit since the new block update allows others to see posts of people who blocked you, which is dangerous. I'll do a quick pause right here. I want to know why they think it's dangerous. You as an American citizen have a right to face your accusers. The block feature as it currently works is great, but how it used to work, the fact that you could block somebody and then just talk shit about them, defame them, and otherwise lie about them, with them having no ability to see, read, or interact with your posts, is absolutely insane. At least now, they know you're talking shit behind them. If you think it's dangerous, you're a shit talker who likes to talk behind people's back, and you really aren't worth the, effort to try and explain why Twitter's new block feature is actually more in line with, like, freedom of speech and the right to face your accusers and shit like that. So what, well, it's whatever. Let's see here. 3, a lack of empathy. Oh, and you doxed him, too. That's nice. Let's see. 3, lack of empathy for others. This is something me and some other people have discovered about him, and I still can't believe I couldn't figure out much sooner, but yes, he barely has empathy for others. He just seems to care about himself. It seems cold-blooded, if you may. And let's see here. Ha 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 ha. This guy can't be for real, now that I know how he really is. My aunt just died, and the first thing I see from him looks like a glomping thing where you hug somebody. Probably a gif. I'm here if you need to talk. That's not cold. That's somebody saying, hey, if you need to talk about this tough situation you're going for, I'm a shoulder to cry on. Exactly how that's how that possibly can be construed as negative is beyond me. So again, this is just more screenshots of this talking shit, talking shit, talking shit. Okay. Oh. Well, this is a little bit more serious here. PDFphilia. Unfortunately, I can confirm Blaze is somewhat of a pedophile too. That statement right there. You have just fucked yourself. So royally. That is, by definition, defamation per se. Good job. No GG, do not pass go, do not collect $200, you've done Shrek yourself. Okay, remember about the 14 relationships he has now? Well, back we were being told by the authorities, again, mystical authorities who we've not seen any information from, just to trust me, bro, from this guy. That one of his BS is actually 11 to 12 years old, and another reminder, he's fucking 18. That's like a 6 to 7 year difference. With him currently being an adult too, that same person being a victim like me, unfortunately. Also, he was flirting with a moderator at some point in the server, and he's done it a few times with some other people, excluding me too. Here's an example below. And then they have a screenshot here of what looks like Blaze, like, degrading somebody and somebody liking it. But again, we have no idea who's on the other end of this. This doesn't look like flirting to me. I'm not gonna read it again. You can pause if you want to read it. But it's just weird. That's what I'm gonna say about that. Now then, additional information. Blaze also seems to have an obsession with lollies. Oh, well, what do you know? The lolly bashing. Not that it matters anything, but with how much he was obsessed with them, this made me and other people very suspicious. Even someone told me he was receiving pedo vibes from Blaze. I'd love to know what these vibes are. And he was, and of course, he also seems to blackmail people too for money, the same way he approached my mother. We still don't know how I got her email, our phone number. Why can't you show a screenshot of this email? But only God knows. Well, what can I say? Don't expect from this manipulator. And it's, again, just more him and some other person, unnamed, talking shit. And then we have this right here. Oh, and remember when I said Blaze would wait until his victims turned 18 to convince them to abandon their homes and move to Scotland? I got another great example to demonstrate that. A while back, the authorities informed us about a missing case of an 18-year-old autistic person here in the US. They told us it's linked to the current case with Blaze and his potential trafficking group, since he was last seen in Texas in an airport. Here's the clip. It's in Spanish though, so y'all will have to translate it in some way. The missing lad is Hispanic, so the news were being brought up in Spanish channels like, okay, well, here's the problem. I'm in California, and you can't communicate with like 30% of the population unless you speak Spanish. Luckily, I speak enough Spanish, so let's go ahead and get to this right here. Alright, this says... Authorities are looking for a young man with autism who disappeared in Colorado. He took a plane and they lost track of him. Leonardo Capeta Cavazos, 18, was last seen on October 18th when he left his home in Windsor, Colorado and boarded a plane at Denver International Airport heading to Austin, Texas. Through tears, his mother says she fears for the safety of her son, who has the mentality of a 14-year-old child because he's autistic. Yeah. I will also bring up here, we're going to go back here real quick, and I want to preface this by saying I got one great example to demonstrate that. Now, that little sentence might not mean much, but it means that this has absolutely no relevance to what Blaze is doing. They're just giving an example to do like, you know, false equivalency, basically. It's honestly disgusting. Extremely manipulative. The lad is still missing to this day, knowing what would have... okay. I hope he's alright. Like I mentioned earlier, he's autistic. I'm also autistic myself. Knowing I was a victim too, this made me wonder if Blaze was mainly aiming for autistic people like me who are easy to manipulate, which is insane. Why us, man? Why? Could be possible since when he touched you, feel closer to, okay, just a bunch of, again, random accusations with nothing, and you're linking things that aren't even linked. They're not related. You're being a crazy person right now is what you're doing. And what's nice is thanks to Mizu as well, we're gonna have 2 follow-up tweets here. that we have. Let me just bring them up right quick. Thank you very much. Alright, so Jinwon said his family moved out to Colorado, so that's why he was in Colorado. He most likely was instructed to go back to Houston for reasons by an unnamed party, which wasn't mentioned. Parents say this is not something he would ever do outright. His mental age is a few years behind his actual age. The second tweet that I was sent in regarding this on the 14th of November, 2024, so yesterday morning. Just a heads up about that child that went missing. As of 10:28 at 11:30 a.m. So quite a while ago, which means that quite a while, I believe, since quite a while before the publishing of this document, he was found. The Windsor Police Department is happy to announce that Leonardo has been reunited with his parents over the weekend. Out of respect for the privacy of Leonardo and his family, WPD will not be releasing any further details related to the case or its resolution. Which begs the question, how she got information from the authorities like that. Further information may come from the family as they deem appropriate. We appreciate the efforts of everyone who helped with the search and the overwhelming concern shown by our community. Thank you. So, the person who they said is still missing to this day, not so missing to this day. Pretty fucking wild. Or go with its conclusion, then I'll give my thoughts. Overall, during the past 5 months or more, I always saw Blaze as someone cute, fun, and kind to talk with. It's weird, they kind of said exactly the same thing up at the beginning of the doc. However, after what happened in late September, surely took a huge turn in my life, trying to keep my head up from everything that's happened, from heartbreak to betrayal. This was unlike everything I've ever witnessed my whole life, using Discord Twitter for 3+ years. This person should not be on Discord at all, let alone when they were 14. Hopefully something like this won't ever happen in my life ever again. I agree, because, I mean, you're trying to ruin somebody's life over nothing. With no evidence to the contrary, just a lot of trust me bros, and trust me bros, I'm talking to the cops. We're not even gonna bother reading the rest of that. Yeah, so, how does this leave Ari potentially legally open to litigation? Well, I'll tell you right now, the pedophile accusation, which wasn't even an accusation, it was a statement of their opinion, as though it was an actual fact. Again, I can confirm. How can you confirm this? None of this shows any way that you can confirm that you have received this information, and you have called them a pedophile. That's you've called them a criminal. Do they have a criminal conviction? In light of that, do they not? Well, then you've just committed defamation per se. And in this, say this were to go to court, right? The fact that they keep saying that they have information from these authorities, it's, well, directly saying the authorities told you something they didn't is not usually a crime in and of itself. Depending on the context, it could be considered a form of misrepresentation or false statement and could lead to legal consequences if used to deceive someone or harm their interests, especially if it is done in a professional or legal setting. I would say that this person is trying to harm Blaze's interests and his financial security as well as his reputation. He's called him a criminal. That is an elevated form of defamation. It's a part of defamation, but it's called defamation per se. And it's basically where you have, your statements are so egregiously, inherently damaging to someone's reputation, there is no longer a need to prove damages, which shifts the burden of proof to the respondent, the person getting sued. Ari here would have to provide inexcusable evidence to the fact that they are a pedophile for them to be found not liable for defamation here. And I don't think they have that evidence. So, Ari, if you ever see this, I would suggest you take this down. I'd suggest you write an apology or something. Because right now, luckily, the person you're disparaging is an 18-year-old in Scotland. They're not in America, and they probably never will be. So you might never see this end up putting you in court. But if you're willing to do this once, you're gonna be willing to do it again. And if you do it again to somebody who's in the United States, they will have much more of an advantageous position to sue you into oblivion. And if all these claims are false, which I believe they are false because you have not proven any of these without with even a preponderance of evidence, a reasonable suspicion, nothing here has given me anything. I just think you're a big liar. This is the Sarah Boone case of documents, okay? This is so blatantly wrong and so blatantly misleading that it makes it easy to pick apart. But it's also incumbent of a bigger issue especially when it comes to the VTuber community. Everyone loves to make these large multi-page documents filled with screenshots to try and ruin another person's life instead of trying to either A, block and forget about them, or B, try and contact them and work it out privately. Because the last thing that's good for anybody is when you try to air out dirty laundry, especially when it's so disingenuous, it could get you in legal trouble. Anyway, that's all for this episode of VTC, Vtuber Court. It'll be more organized in the future. I just kind of wanted to show, like, the perfect example of how not to make a Google Doc expose on somebody. And Ari, right now, you've won that prize. If you like this content, please like, favorite, subscribe, comment, headbutt the notification bell as hard as you possibly can, and I'll see you on the next one.